Hello and welcome back to George's Gaming Guide. Today me and Dad are going to be doing the long overdue review of the UCS AT-AT. The set number is 75313 and this set is made out of 6,785 pieces. Now this set was released in November of the year 2021 and this set measures over 25 inches or 62 centimeters high, 10 inches or 24 centimeters wide and 28 inches or 69 centimeters deep. So now I'm going to hand you over to Dad to go over the names of the minifigures.
Yeah, so this set actually comes with 9 minifigures. You can actually see Luke Skywalker hanging down here. But there are 3 unique minifigures to this set. So you have a Snowtrooper Commander. So he is slightly different because he has a different sort of insignia on the top of his uniform. You have Commander Maximilian Veers. Now he is very similar to the one that came out in the AT-AT that was released earlier that year, the 75288. I can't remember off the top of my head what the exact differences were, but they are very, very similar. The other one that's unique is one of the AT-AT drivers, and I believe the thing that makes it unique is the head. It's actually a female's head. And then the other 6 minifigures you get are 4 snowtroopers. You have 2 male, 2 female in the snowtroopers. You have Luke Skywalker, who's been seen in a couple of sets previously. And then the other AT-AT driver is, I think, was in the previous AT-AT as well with Commander Veers. But overall, I think it's a really nice collection of minifigures. We're going to go over the structure of this shortly, but I think what we'll do is I'll hand back to George so we can talk about the sort of the head and start looking at a bit more of the body. To do this, let me just turn this around to the camera a little bit, because the head does actually have 2 sort of positions it can be in, and to make it easier for George to show you the details, we'll move it to the other position. So it can be a little bit awkward. This is a swivel piece inside that locks in and it gets come off again, so that will actually rotate the head sideways. The head is really heavy and then it just pushes down to lock it in position. I do actually like it in this position because it gives a bit of a tilt to it, and I think it just looks a lot more like you see it in the film, because I don't tend to always have the head straight. But I'll hand it over to George now to talk about all the features of the head.
On the outside there are very few features of the head actually. There are only 2 main ones that we'll go over. So there are these like guns on the left and right side, which do rotate the full way around, which are quite nice. And then we have got these 2 cannons at the front now. When one moves out, one goes in, and when one goes in, one goes out, and vice versa, which is how it is in the films. It's obviously back to back firing, one at a time. So obviously that's the recoil of one of them firing, pushing it back. So that it does look like one's just going back while one goes forward, but it's actually just the recoil of it, which I do think is rather interesting. So we're going to go over the inside of the model, or the head, when we go over the inside of the body, just so that it's at the same time, plus some of the minifigures are in there, so it will make it a bit easier and just a bit easier to understand from a viewing perspective. So I'm going to hand you back over to Dad to go over the legs and the outside of the body.
Yeah, I think this in general looks absolutely amazing. When you compare this version of the AT-AT versus the version you see in the films, I think most of the shapes they've got really, really well. I mean, things like where the fuel tank sits on the back of this, with the way the body then comes up from there, from the back, it looks almost identical to what it looks like in the film itself. Yeah, it's just a fantastic job. So one of the things, if you've got any of the previous AT-ATs, that you may find is that stability can be a bit of an issue, and that just gets worse the bigger you get. And as you can see, this is an absolutely huge set. I mean, as George said, I mean, it was, let me just remind myself, it's 62 centimetres high, which is crazy for a model. And the thing that really helps it is these 4 massive legs that have got loads and loads of technic in. The bit that's quite strange about this is out of the whole set, the only bit that isn't actually reinforced by Technic is the feet themselves, or the foot pads as they call it. I don't suppose it really needed it because it literally just sits on top. It's not held in place because it swings slightly to make sure you get a nice flat connection to the floor. But they are quite heavy in their own respect. But when we come to the legs themselves, as I say, on the back of the plaque, you do actually get this sort of brick-built screwdriver. Now there's 8 locations to use this. So you got the inside of the knees and the inside of the thighs on each one. And all there is there's a cross rod inside. And I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this. Yeah, you might see it moving. So as I do the screwdriver, you can see this leg straighten up. And once it's in that position, it's really, really solid. So I'm going to move it back to sort of similar to where it was because it was quite a nice stance. But you should be able to see that moving backwards and forwards. As I say, you've got one at the top as well, so you can move the angle of the hip. And it works really, really well. I mean, it's the stability on this. I mean, you can see there's a lot of movement, but it's solid. It's not going anywhere. So
That'd have been funny if you did that and it was sure crashed down right as you did that.
And as you can see, Luke Skywalker having a bit of a swing on the bottom as I was doing that. So I think that's really nice. The one bit that's a little bit come off quite easy, I don't think you can really see it, but you've got these bits at the side of the feet which then connect to the ankle. They do tend to work themselves off, even if it's just been sat there. We come to it quite often, and they seem to have pinged out. Not an issue because they're very easy to get back in, but you do notice. I think if you try and move it, you'll find that these tend to come out quite easily.
Is that fair? When we were building it, I thought this was there for stability. Trying to lock it together, but it doesn't seem to make a difference, to be honest. Yeah,
it's just for aesthetics. It doesn't actually help with the stability bit.
You thought in that case it'd lock it in place and do that properly.
So going to the underneath here, as I say, you've got the fuel cell on the back of it. Underneath, you have actually got hidden somewhere here. There's a little hatch, which is where Luke, with his thermal detonator, will actually throw the thermal detonator inside to destroy the AT-AT, and you've got the sort of the motors for the legs. I think it just from that underside looks fantastic. There's so much detail in there, considering it's underneath the model. I think they've done a great job. Did you want to talk a bit about the upper body?
Well, I was going to go on the inside.
Okay, so I'll carry on with the outside then. So the outside of the body, the whole of this top bit removes. So when we start talking about the inside, we'll strip off the whole lot. Sorry, and then just put off the top. Yeah, you've got 3 panels on the top that all come out. The panels on the side, I won't open them fully yet, because we'll do that when George talks about the inside. But the front and back actually swing to almost 90 degrees, so you have good access. And if you take the top bit off, this whole panel comes off. Then on both sides, you actually have this side panel. So it slides out towards the camera and then lifts up to 90 degrees. And in there you've got some of the troops, and we've got the guns, because that's one of the things we mentioned, you get a gun in this as well.
Ion laser cannon.
The ion laser cannon, proper name. And it's really nice, so you can actually have the side panel of that open. I can't remember seeing that in the film, but it's a really nice feature.
Because you get 2 speeder bikes in the set as well. I do believe we added we got a couple of Snow Trooper battle packs. Did we add some of them in? I believe we did.
Yeah, the speeder bikes are actually in the back of this.
Yeah, so there are. So you only get 2 speeder bikes, only 1 cannon, but we do have an extra cannon and 2 speeder bikes because of the Snow Trooper battle pack, which obviously came out because there's 40 seats in this, so you could fill it up.
So did you want me to start taking some of the bits off so you can talk about the inside? So with the AT-AT itself, all the panels literally just held on by a couple of rods. So there's nothing that really locks into place So it's nice and easy to just take them off. I mean, this one literally sits on the 2 short panels.
Just before I start,
Yeah,
where you had your head off the camera, I thought, oh no, we might get copyrighted from Luke from Harry Potter, because we haven't got Nearly Headless Luke, we've got Nearly Headless Nigel.
Very funny.
Thank you.
Right, then this section literally just lifts off. It's held on in a couple of places. So just to show the inside of this, so this is your mechanism for the door to be pulled outwards and upwards. And then, so these turn almost 90 degrees to give you access without having to open the sides. But so if you want to take over, then do you want to talk about or do you want me to take both sides off as well?
Yeah, please, because the problem is, otherwise, is I can't see where everything is. Yes, Dad is living up to his name, breaking the model that we are reviewing. I don't know what part of it you broke, but you know what, never mind. Now, each side is actually identical, so I'm going to look on this side, but I'm going to point on that side. So I'm going to get up, I don't know, no I'm not, am I off the top? I'm a little bit off the top. So we have the main seating area here with obviously some of the extra minifigures in. We also have Luke's lightsaber here, which you can't see, but it's just because you can't have it in his hand, so we've got it in the gun holster that's on every chair. Now these are the fuel tanks, I believe, that are inside of the model, and then we have got the 2 speeders here. We've got the same thing on the other side. Now, is there the 2 scout troopers over that side? Is that just on this side? I'm not sure. I'm trying to...
Yeah, we've just got scout troopers this side.
So there are scout troops on this side. You do not get those in the model, as we said earlier. That is just from the Snowtrooper Battle Pack. So there are ladders that means that they can go up from the first to the second floor of it. Then we've got doors that could go in between the rooms. Now there is a huge hatch in front of the, well, I'm gonna call it a hallway, it isn't, but to the head, which does not open. That's clipped in, obviously, because this is not an open route for a minifigure, because looking inside, it is completely filled with Technics, so you won't be able to get anything in there. But now I think that we've gone over the top pretty well, so let's have a look at the head, which is going to be the final part of this review. So these move out.
Yeah, so these will actually lift off as well, I believe.
I'm going to lift this up then. So that will remove itself so that we can see what we are dealing with here. Sorry, this does just move.
This just lifts up.
It's really annoying. So on the inside we have actually got the panels for it, but they're on the top of this bit, so you won't actually be able to see it. But on the inside here we have a control panel here with Admiral Veers, the Snowtrooper Commander, and then the 2 AT-AT drivers. There's not a whole lot of detail on the inside. As you can see, there is a door at the back, but there's not really much detail in it. You know, most of it's on the front of this bit that's at the top, which is 2 control panels and 2 levers, obviously supposed to be controlling it. So there's not really a lot there, but what is there is quite nice, and it's a reasonable amount of detail. Now do be careful with the panels on this set when you're moving it. Not the ones that come off, but the ones that are actually supposed to stay on, because some of them that come off, that aren't supposed to come off and come off, are awful to put back in, which we found out the other day getting this ready for today's video. So just try not to break anything, because otherwise it can be a real pain to try to fix it. But yeah, overall I think that this is a really nice set, and I'd really recommend it. So what is your final opinion on this?
Yeah, so I mean, going back to the aesthetics of this set, I think this does look phenomenal. I love the sort of the visor, windscreen, whatever you want to call it, on the front of this, the red bit. I think that looks so much like it does in the film. So there's a lot of exposed studs on this. I don't think that's really a big issue. I think they've put the detail in it where it needs to be. Mm-hmm. One thing I would have liked to have seen, and I think it was on the AT-AT had it, where the side panels, because of the angle, you actually have an elastic band on the inside that holds the panels in, so it's exactly the right location. Now I think they probably haven't done it because they're designed to be able to take off so you can have battery access. but they do tend to come forward slightly. So I think if they were able to be held in, that would be a lot better. So I am tempted to try and do that, to make it so they're nice and tight into it, because with the head being on its side slightly, you tend to find that one side slightly opens. But I don't, it's not a big issue. It's just something that for me, I think would have been nice to just sort of finish it off a little bit more. I do like all the sort of brown orange studs that you can see on this. I think it just adds that little bit of nice detail. I'm not sure if George mentioned it or not. Sorry if I'm hiding your face, to be honest. Despite the size of this set, there's actually only 8 stickers. And some of those stickers are on the inside, so I don't know if you can
I
pick
think
up
most
there.
of them are stickers for doors mainly.
Yeah, it's where you got the light panels that you tend to get on a lot of on the Death Star and other ships.
And yes, I did go over this.
Did you?
But
So-
not about what they are, so.
Yeah, so the fact that there's a lot of detail in there for just 8 stickers, I think they've done that really, really well. The other thing to mention, and these are going to be a little bit awkward to get in and out, because they sort of go on a bit of a stud at the back, just to make them sure they're held in position. But you get these two, so you get 2 of these speeder bikes, which I think are really nice, and they are exactly the same design as you get in the Snow Trooper Battle Pack. So you're actually designed to fit 2 on either side, so we have got the 2 on the other side as well. And I think they're a nice little design. Here's a nice bit of detail with the, I think it's actually a printed console piece, and it looks really good. I don't think it's quite as good. I can't think of what's the set we built recently with the speeders. Oh, the Endor Speeder Chase. I think they're slightly better than this.
No wonder I didn't know.
Well,
No wonder I didn't know.
yeah. But I think, it's still a very, very nice design. It's very similar. I just prefer that one slightly. I think they've done it slightly better. But so you do get 2 of them, and I believe it's one of these as well. So you get a little stud shooter on the top, and the cannon looks really nice. Oops, apart from me breaking it. Just trying to turn the foot there.
The feet are actually guns.
Yeah, the foot. Yeah,
They're the guns that you have for the police department in the Batman sets, I believe.
yeah. So it's really nice. So again, part usage on this set is pretty impressive, to be honest. And overall, I think it's expensive, but it's a great set to have in any collection. As I say, the details on this is insane. I mean, everywhere you look, you just see things that you see on the AT-ATs in the films. Now, the smaller ones are good, don't get me wrong, they do look really good, but having the extra scale on this, there's just so many small intricacies in the details that are fantastic. Not without its issues. I mean, one of the things I'll quickly show you here, you've got these sections at the side that are either side of each leg, and it's literally held on by a single stud. One thing we found while trying to put the legs on, there you go, I can't even see to put it back on there. One thing we found while trying to build it is they come off very, very easily. So that's a bit of a watch out when you're building it. But it's nice that it gives it that little bit of shape. But yeah, I think it's just a great set. As I say, it takes a lot of room.
Yeah.
But you walk into the room, it's an eye catcher.
Well, I think
it's
that
fantastic.
the only thing you really need to fit somewhere, like on a table or something, is the legs.
Yeah.
This is so much taller and everything else. It doesn't really matter about height. You just need to find somewhere we can fit 4 legs. That's it. Which is what we had to do.
Because they released around the same time as this the AT-ST that was based on Hoth as well, which stands to about here on the legs, which is probably about the right scale. So I think the 2 together actually look really, really nice.
I think the UCS one for the AT-ST is slightly
It's too big to go with this.
It's close.
Yeah,
But it's
I
just
don't know what we did
slightly
with it.
too
What else? Oh, is it that one over there?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. So perhaps we'll when we do another feature, perhaps we do a Hoth feature. We'll have it so we've got all the different vehicles and we can show the AT-ST against it. 'Cause I say the scale of it works really well. I think the fact they released that and the Snowtrooper battle packs all at the same time was a very, very good thing for Lego to do, because they all complement each other, and to be able to build up the troops in this, I would say we're nowhere near the 40 troops, but I think it's nice to have a bit more in there so it's not quite as sparse when you look on the inside. And it's just fantastic. I think there's not many bad things I could say about the set, to be honest. It's for me, it's one of the better sets they've done in the UCS collection. And part of that is the fact it's so stable. The design that's gone into this to make it so that it's functional and you're not worried about it falling over every time you walk past. I think it's fantastic. So for me, definite thumbs up. And I say, if you can, while it's still available, I'll try and get hold of this.
Yeah, overall I think this is a really nice set. The build of it, even though it was a long time ago now, was quite nice. Some of it was a little bit tricky because of the technique, obviously, but overall it was quite nice, and I just would really recommend getting this set.
Yeah, and then just before we finish the video, what we'll do is we're going to cut out of this part of the video now, and we'll come back in a moment to give you a closer view at all the minifigures. So here we have the minifigures. We're going to start off by the actual plaque that comes on this. This is a sticker plaque, like they used to be. I think that's only changed in the recent X-Wing, which is now a printed plaque. But it's got all the details on these like you'd expect for a UCS set. So you can actually see why it's called the AT-AT, so it's the Imperial All-Terrain Armoured Transport, so AT-AT. It's the manufacturer's the Kuat drive yards. It's 22.2 metres high, so it's a bit of a beast, to be honest. I can move at 60 kilometres an hour, which doesn't look very fast in the films, but I think because of the length of the stride, it's actually quite a long way. The weapons is a bit strange because it's got there's two MS1 heavy laser cannons, which are the two underneath the head. You got the two FF4 medium repeater blasters, which are the ones on the side of the head. And then it actually says the foot pads are a weapon. So, a bit of a strange one. Yes, I know it can actually crush things, but to be called a weapon, yeah, I'm not too sure about that. The capacity in the AT-AT, as you can see, is a pilot, a gunner, a commander, 2 deck officers, 40 troops, 4 speeder bikes, and also a metric ton of cargo. But overall, I do like these designs. I think it's sort of around 2010, 2012, I think they changed it to be sort of the white text and the blue picture to go with the set, and I think they all look really, really nice. And then let's get on to the minifigures themselves. So you do get a nice collection of minifigures in this, so we'll start off with the Snowtrooper Commander. The reason you can tell is the commanders. You say maybe it's they've got the blue and red sort of badge that he's got on the front of his uniform. That realistically is the only difference between the normal one and the commander. I think the print on this is really nice, with the straps and everything, with his belts, and it's just it's a nice design. I'd say the older snowtroopers tended to have the backpack on as well, whereas these don't have the backpack. The helmet is really nice, nicely moulded. It's just a nice, clean-looking minifigure. Then we have the other 4 snowtroopers, which are all identical. So they have these sort of silver bit badges on the side of the chest, or silver and red, sorry, on the side of the chest. The body and head and everything and headpiece are all the same. The actual face is different for the 4, so you actually get 4 unique snowtroopers, which is quite nice. But I say overall, it's pretty much the Snowtrooper Commander. I say just slightly different with the badges on the front. Then we have one of the 2 AT-AT drivers. So again, it's a nice minifigure. I do like the print on this, especially the helmet. I think the details on the helmet are really, really nice. As you can see, it's printed on sort of 180 degrees of the helmet, and the quality of the print is really nice. It's I don't know how easy it is going to be able to pick that up. It's just slightly out of focus at the minute. But the detail in there is really cool, to be honest. A little bit of printed on the back, and then similar design for legs, just the blue instead of the white. I believe they're like the ejection cords they use for within the AT-AT themselves. So again, really nice. I say one of these is unique because it's the female one. This is the male one. As I say, apart from the head itself, they are two identical minifigures. Then we have Commander Maximilian Viz. Again, nice little design in this one. So he's got his little microphone. You can see he's carrying his binoculars at the minute. The hat itself has actually got the goggles on it. The only printing on the legs is to look like he's wearing black boots. And the body itself has actually got some really, really nice detail in there. The printing on the back is nice as well. Quite hard to see because it is really light colours, but yeah, the detail on it is pretty good, to be honest. It is a double-sided head. Try and get it's not going mainly to focus. So it's got one closed mouth, one open mouth. Other than that, there's not a lot of difference between the two. I say it is unique because it is slightly different to the one that was in the previous AT-AT that was released that year. But overall, it's a really nice figure. And then we come to Luke Skywalker. Again, the print on this is pretty good, to be honest. It wasn't unique to the set, but as you can see, the detail on the legs and going up the body with the breathing gear and everything is just fantastic. Really, really detailed printing. The back, I don't know how easy it's going to be to see, but the printing so fine, it's actually got all lines going across his vest on the back of it. And just really nice detail. His helmet, I say again, the quality of the prints on the helmet is fantastic, and again it's sort of 180 degrees round, a little bit further on the top on this one. But really nice. It's got a printed thermal detonator. It does have a lightsaber as well, which we've got inside the AT-AT at the minute, and he's got a choice of two faces. I don't know, it's not zooming. Come on. Just about got it there. Yeah, can't quite get in focus for some reason. But the two heads are very similar. One is slightly open mouth compared to the other. But again, very nice minifigure. So not unique to the set, but it's definitely worthy addition. And the last thing I want to mention before we sort of close out the review on this is the little screwdriver thing that you make. So it's all built out of sort of Technic pieces. I do like the fact it's got I believe this was printed. Yeah, it's got the printed Imperial logo on the end, so that's really nice. And it actually feels quite nice. As I say, the end is a joint, so as you're trying to screw the legs to move them, it does give you that flexibility, so you haven't got to hold it dead straight on it. And it works really well. So I do like the fact that on the stand itself, it literally just clips in the back. So it's a nice place to hold it as well. And it's just short enough to not be able to see it from the front. So, or just about. So you won't see it. Again, great position. So it just gets hidden when you're looking from the front. So all in all, really like the minifigures. Love the set. I say definitely, if you can afford it and if you've got the space to put it, I would recommend this for in your collection. Because it just looks fantastic. To show the size of it, our old AT-AT actually fits completely underneath the body of this one, so it is a huge set. And I think, yeah, really recommended. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. We'd really like to know what you thought about this set, so please give us a comment and let us know your opinions. Please also give us a like, and if you haven't already, subscribe to George's channel, and watch out for Wednesday's video, which is going to be the gift we purchased 4x4 off-road ambulance.